Now that the euphoria has worn off, Texas fans, we need to talk about that running game because what the Horns did in the Peach Bowl, that will get them beat badly in the Cotton Bowl against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Let's talk about the run game and what needs to improve next. Hey everybody, Brian Davis covering the Longhorns for A to Z Sports. Listen, once you finally went to bed and you stared at the ceiling and you were excited about how the Peach Bowl went, once all that adrenaline wore off and in the light of day after New Year's Day, you probably had some issues with the offense because look, Quinn Ewers' throws in overtime, those were fantastic. But man, oh man, that Texas running game had some real issues, and I think it's going to be a major problem if they can't get that figured out against the Buckeyes in the Cotton Bowl. As I was watching Ohio State, watching the highlights and watching how that game unfolded against Oregon, man, their defense was all over the Ducks. The Oregon finished with minus 23 rushing yards for the entire game. That is sensational. We've talked all year long about how good the Texas run game is. They're 10th in the country. Well, the Buckeyes are 5th in the country. Let's look at the log here of basically how they've done down the home stretch. 98 yards against Purdue, 50 yards against Northwestern, 83 yards against Signetti and the company from Indiana. Michigan did get loose on them, and that was the key for the Maize and Blue. They got running yards on the ground, and they were gashing the Buckeyes, got the win there. But then they tightened it back down against Tennessee. You look at what Texas has done in the last few weeks. You know, it's all as great as it was against Arkansas and Kentucky. Only 31 yards against Georgia in the SEC championship rematch. Not good. Only 53 yards against Arizona State. Again, Quinn Ewers was able to bail them out. If Texas cannot find a way to make it work with Jaden Blue, with Trey Wisner, Jarrett Gibson, this offensive line, which is a little banged up. Let's just be honest here. Kelvin Banks, Cam Williams, both of them are they're probably not as 100%. Of course, nobody's 100% at this time of the year. Cole Hudson, 2 big penalties, you know, in one of the last drives in regulation for the Horns. And the lack of the running game really, really hurt Texas's ability to put the game away. I talked about before in the previous video. They absolutely should have run the ball to put the game away when they got it back with 5 minutes left from their 35. Quinn hits the pass to Wisner. He gets the thing to Helm. But then they get to 1st and 10 at the 35. 3 straight pass plays, and then Auburn misses the first of 2 field goals. I didn't like that play calling then. I definitely don't like it now. But the fact that they couldn't run the ball when they absolutely needed it, man, that was tough. That was really, really tough. Texas has more than a week to focus on all this, so it's not like they've got to fix this today. But I really think that's going to be a massive, massive matchup to watch, is whether or not the running backs and this line can find some room against the Buckeyes. I genuinely think Texas's season depends on it in the Cotton Bowl. Plenty more all next week. A to Z sports.com/Longhorns. We'll have all kinds of coverage leading up to the CFP semifinals. It's going to be a fantastic game, no question about it. Longhorns and Buckeyes. Just saying them, it sounds fantastic. A to Z sports.com/Longhorns. I'm Brian. We'll see you next time.